Let me ask you, do you want to go with a group of nerds on an expedition to a massive volcano? Do you want to fight against giant spiders, or simply investigate mysterious phenomena? Do you want to destroy endless hordes of mutants and cry every time you meet a camera? Or just become a lab rat for a scientist and discover the most epic anomalies in the zone in the process? And on the top of all that, start a collection of Japanese dolls. Well, if that sounds like something you could be into, I have the perfect mod for you to try. I'm going on vacation soon, so I'm not gonna do any new videos for a while, but I wanted to leave you with this nice little gem before I go. So today we are talking about DOLLCHAN 8 Infinity. And the Japanese stuff is absolutely not at the center of the game. It's actually a pretty serious mod with a really interesting story and a ton of cool stuff to offer. I had a lot of fun with it, so I thought I should share. Okay, let's get started. I'm not gonna go too deep into the story. You're a survivor of the death trucks and basically go on a long investigation of what happened to you and the secrets of the zone. The only thing you have to know is that the story is pretty good and very engaging. There's a full brand new questline and a ton of side quests that will keep you busy for a very long time. It's very well written and the English translation is great, so absolutely no complaints here. I'm gonna jump straight to what I really enjoyed in this mod and why I think you should give it a try. It revolves around two main things, actually three, thinking about it, that all merge together to create a great experience. Okay, first, the atmosphere. The zone is spooky, gritty, and mysterious. Graphics and sound design are on point. When you play Stalker, a great atmosphere is, in my opinion, one of the most important things, and this mod absolutely nails it. Number 2, the quest design. You have a somewhat linear main quest that you want to progress to learn more about the story and your character background, but the main objectives are pretty open, and they let you fully experience the free-play, open-world aspect of the game. Let me try to explain. For example, early game, you will have to visit a lab to progress the story, the first of many labs I have to say, and to survive this lab, you will need a good suit for protection to just survive the place. That's your main objective, that's what you have to do. But the way you're gonna do it, being, do I want to grind rep with loners until Sidorovich sells me an overpriced suit, or do I want to get friendly with the nerds and get a cheap suit from them? Or do I simply want to go artifact hunting and get a ton of mates to survive the lab with a shitty suit and the artifacts protection? You're completely free to do whatever you want to get to that objective. And I actually really enjoy quest design like this, because you play in a somewhat open world, and designing missions like this really gives you the freedom to progress however you want. And I took this suit example, but there's a lot of missions like that at key moments of the story. You will have a special device at some point to open locked doors in labs that use artifacts as power, so you will have to do quite a bit of artifact hunting, find better detectors, better suits to progress the story, like things like this. One complaint I see a lot with mods like Anomaly, for example, is that you don't have a super engaging main questline and you end up roaming the open world, doing a little bit of everything, a lot of repetitive fetch quests without a real goal. Well, this mod strikes the perfect balance between the two, and I absolutely loved it. You're free to explore, do whatever you want, and at the same time you're always working in the background towards your main objectives. And here we arrive at number 3, because yes, remember, I said I loved 3 things about this mod, and it's the new maps. I didn't do my homework, so I'm not sure exactly what these maps are or where they come from, but basically you're playing in a modified, expanded version of the maps you already know. So it seems familiar, but you're discovering a ton of new things at the same time, and it's actually a really refreshing experience. And there's a ton of loot, stashes, people and stuff to find, so exploring the new areas is definitely worth it. So when you mix all that with the great atmosphere, the great quest design that pushes you to explore and free play a lot in the world alongside progressing the main quest, well, you have a perfect combo for a great experience. And the zone is ruthless, sometimes in an unfair way, and I'll get back to this later, but generally more in a fuck around and find out kind of way. First, you start with nothing, absolutely nothing, and you will have to struggle to get even the most basic gear. Be ready to be Sidorovich bitch for a while, doing his groceries, delivering packages, and massaging his feet before you can get your head out of the water. Everybody is fighting to survive. You don't know who you can trust, you will be robbed, lied to, betrayed, and you're gonna have to earn the trust of others. You're gonna have to talk your way out of many situations through different dialogue options that can have very different results depending on what you decide to say. There is some fights, especially early game, that you won't be able to brute force, and you need to be smart and find a way around them. And one piece of advice, if people offer you something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do not trust anybody. And listen to what people tell you, like really pay attention. For example, Sidorovich will tell you early game to not kill any military, to not screw up his business. Listen to him. You won't get stuck if you don't listen, but it will definitely make your life harder, and trust me, things are tough enough already. So overall, I absolutely love this aspect of the game. It didn't feel like a grind, but more like a fight for survival, a fight to prove yourself as a true stalker. Every little progress and gear upgrades feels like an achievement, and overall the gameplay is super immersive. In terms of world building, this mod absolutely nails it. Add to this a pretty cool story with missions that try to be original and engaging, and you got the perfect recipe for a great experience. There are some basic survival elements like cooking, a ton of new unique items, and cool NPCs with interesting background and stories that you're gonna meet. There's of course a wide variety of weapons and a ton of little mechanics I really enjoyed, like for example, you can use artifacts for yourself, and it's very important, they're very useful in this mod, or you can sell all the extra for good money, of course, but you can actually trade them directly to traders for whatever you need, something like food, a special type of ammo, or medicine. There's a lot of little mechanics like this that are very nice. Okay, now let's talk quickly about what I didn't like with the mod, because it's not perfect either, and there is some frustrating stuff. Okay, first, radiation. Radiation is everywhere, but early game you're already struggling to survive with barely any medicine or food, and if you just walk randomly in an irradiated area, it's immediately a slow and painful death sentence. And honestly, after a while, I just started save scumming because it was really annoying. If I got irradiated, I would simply load my previous save. I didn't want to deal with it. As soon as you get a better suit or artifacts, you will be fine, but early game, when you've finished all your vodkas, radiation is a real struggle. The game will also sometimes spawn events around you. Some are random, some are scripted, like a controller with its little army of zombies and things like this. It's fine most of the time, and it's generally fights you can run away from if you don't want to deal with it, but a couple times I had them happen in areas where you cannot avoid them, and they're an immediate death sentence. You will have to go back to an earlier save, and it's a little bit frustrating. Speaking of saves, the mod is pretty stable, but I still had regular random crashes from time to time, so yeah, save your game often. Overall, there's nothing game-breaking, and it never made me want to give up on the mod, just some frustrating stuff, but hey, nothing is perfect. And keep in mind that this mod is hard, like really hard, even on the lower difficulties. Enemies are not bullet sponges, but you are not either, even with a good armor and extra protection from artifacts. Against well-geared enemies like monoliths, you will kill them in a couple rounds, and the opposite is true too. Like, the fights are very challenging and it might not be to everyone's taste. A mod like Gamma, even on the highest difficulties, feels like a walk in the park compared to this mod. It's definitely not one of these mods where you can lower the difficulty and chill and just enjoy the story. You're gonna have to struggle. It's very satisfying when you achieve something, but yeah, the pain is real. I personally love it, but it will definitely drive some people crazy. So yeah, overall it's an amazing mod with a super interesting story, amazing locations to explore, honestly some of the best maps I've seen so far, and a ton of cool little features to offer. It's hard, you will struggle to progress, but in the end it's a very rewarding experience. If you want to try something different, definitely give it a go. Okay, let's do a quick installation guide. As usual, everything and all the links you need are gonna be in the description. The installation is easy, but pay attention because there's a couple important steps. When everything is downloaded, you should have an Infinity folder from the torrent, the patch, and the translation file. Let me extract those first so we have everything ready. Okay, you're gonna go to the Infinity folder and simply start the exe to start the install. You can create a folder for DOLLCHAN on the root of your drive and point the installer to that folder. When it's done, you're gonna go to your install folder, then to database, and you're gonna copy the patch inside it. Then we have to start the game first. You go to the options, it's the fourth down the list, then the third window, and switch the Russian to English. Apply the changes and close the game. After it's done, you can copy the translation files in your game data folder. And you're pretty much done. You can start the game and start setting up everything to your liking. From what I understand, the game can run on different engines, but to be fair, I did not look too much into it. I just turned the anomaly preset in the mod organizer, and that's pretty much it. Everything worked fine from the get-go, and you know how lucky it is from Stalker modding, so I didn't want to tinker too much with the mod. Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Enjoy!